Are you ready, kids? I said, are you ready, kids?
I don't see any kids here.
Yeah, there's no kids here.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, wait, children at heart. Aye, Exan.
I'm one of those mythical, myth fans of Nickelodeon that actually prefers Avatar and Legend of Korra over silly stuff like SpongeBob. So, no, I'm
You
not
can
ready.
like both. I like both.
Well, I don't.
Eat me.
But anyway, this is SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, I was donated this game by a fan and ended up playing it, and I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it. I don't think it does much different than what Mario 64 and the like did, but
no,
it's still no. But not that I'm expecting every game to do their own thing, but what SpongeBob does well, it does well enough.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time with the game.
I feel like expectations are always different / lower whenever it's a licensed product.
Well, with licensed games, yes.
Even just from this cutscene, this is a quality product.
Yeah.
It was made with. I don't want to say love, because that's presuming a bit too much about the intentions of the developers. They could have gone through this like completely dead-eyed with disinterest in what they were making, but god damn, they did it right.
Yeah, because that does happen. The first example I can think of is Bubsy, where I believe it was Bubsy 2, where developers stabbed plush dolls of Bubsy with pencils and scissors in order to take out their frustration. So that
The voodoo magic isn't working.
Magic Conch Shell, will I ever be developing a not licensed game?
No.
Oh.
The shell has spoken.
Although, on the subject of circular shadows, I'm noticing that only SpongeBob has
Ball?
a properly shaped
Ball?
shadow.
That's not how you land.
Well, you are underwater, so.
Good point. Well made.
Physics engines back in the day were a trip.
It helps that it's a mid 2000s platformer as opposed to an early one. I thought I could break open that treasure chest. This game lies to me. But yeah, it always baffled me as a kid though that they got the voice actor for Bubble Buddy, who literally has like two lines.
2 lines
In the episode he appears, and they get that guy's voice actor, but Mr. Krabs. It was like, as a kid, I was like, they got Bubble Buddy, but Mr. Krabs.
Yeah,
I don't know about
because-
you, Bubble Buddy had the best eye contact in that entire scene. He was staring right at SpongeBob.
Yeah.
You could tell. Any platformer, but specifically in 3D ones.
Where are you looking? Patrick, I'm over here. It's like, okay, we're not making eye contact, I get it, but he's like looking up and to the right.
He's
like,
looking for his
seeing
socks.
something shiny.
Yeah,
he's looking in the wrong direction.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Mr. Krabs is probably one of the easiest ways to get spatulas, which are this game's power stars or jiggies or talismans or whatever. If you bring shiny objects, which is the legitimate name for the collectible in this game, they're called shiny objects. If you bring them to him, you can just straight up buy spatulas. So if you're having trouble in any given level and you just want to get to the next one, you can just grind some of those and buy those.
That's where Sonic Boom got it. The shinies.
This one is called Annoy Squidward. And all you have to do is just jump up and down over and over, and then eventually
Like an idiot.
he'll give you a spatula. And also you
So
get a
this
sock
falls
to
on a
bring-
Noise Squidward Day.
Oh, what was that?
Basically.
What day was that? Like March the 27th or something like that? And if you break all of his stuff, Patrick's sock is there as well? Okay.
But they probably invade his house on a weekly basis.
Weekly.
Weekly. Oh yeah, I should mention this will not be a 100% playthrough, and there's two big reasons for that. One is socks. A lot of them are annoying, so I don't want to bother. The other is Kelp Forest, and if you've played this game, you know exactly why.
The BrainScratch commentaries. I see they are playing a SpongeBob game for once. Let's see how long it takes before they start quoting it incessantly.
Hopefully more
Part
than 2
two.
parts.
Part two.
Maybe if we get it all out of our system now, we'll actually talk about the game coming
No.
No,
No.
that's wrong.
And
That's a lie and you know
That's
it.
the non-SpongeBob guy saying that, so you know it's fucking means it. So the reason why I love SpongeBob so much in the earlier stuff is because a lot of the humor was very. I mean, there were multiple layers to a lot of jokes, very much like the early Simpsons shit.
Oh, is this
Or
where
Animaniacs
like
and
is this where like Ghostbusters fans start to describe the humor as cerebral, right?
So
You need a really high IQ in order to understand
Yeah.
SpongeBob SquarePants. The episode where Squidward eats the Krabby Patties and then he goes, "It'll go straight to your thighs." And the funny part to that, for me as a kid, was, "And then you'll blow up," which is still funny, granted. But as an adult, I'm like, "Oh wait, no, it will go straight to my thighs." Oh God.
It's more that Ren and Stimpy kind of mixed the gross out with the bizarre, which made it particularly weird in comparison to
almost
everything
like
else
very
around
very Twilight Zone.
it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's not one thing I would ever
Yeah.
see being.
It's the first thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking of bizarre.
But
and surreal.
I already have rubber nipples. It's like what?
What? I have to say, using the tongue as a sled is great callback to. Hibernation.
I hate that. I hate
No,
that
Hibernation
jump.
Day.
I hate
What,
this
that jump? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also, there was no. I forgot how many times I had to. Thankfully, this game does have those teleport boxes that allow you to backtrack to the beginning of section. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't.
That works.
Yeah, that counts.
We take the.
Okay, so close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and getting socks.
Yeah. Lots of platformers, though, especially around that era, always had a slide section. Though I
Thanks, Mario.
Yeah, I guess it's just Mario.
Yeah,
is the one
yeah,
to think, but
No, I'm pretty sure it's a Jersey Devil reference.
Sandy's easily the best character to. Well, I like playing as SpongeBob a lot, but I like playing as Sandy a lot more than playing as Patrick. Also,
A far cry from her last playable appearance in Resident Evil 4.
Wrong, different role, Ryan.
Ah.
Sandy was my favorite character in Resident Evil 4.
Ashley and Sandy have the same voice actors.
Voice actors.
I was impressed by like the visual largeness of this area, the wide openness, because one of the things I note about, say, Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank is that although the levels are quite large, a lot of the time you can't see very far away because there are walls or you're in a corridor or separate rooms. Because yeah,
You mentioned that, and we're about to go into an enclosed cave.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome back to SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. What? Never. Okay, never.
SpongeBob has been pardoned for his crimes.
I'm sorry, but Squidward tentacles will not be playable in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom because he's been arrested for tax fraud.
We are considering Squidward Tortellini, though.
When you said bikini pardon, I was imagining like a bunch of men and women in bikinis. Yes, all of them in bikinis in a courtroom.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow, I'm dumb. I just realized that the town's name's Bikini Bottom. Like a bikini bottom, like the bottom part
Really?
of a...
You just
wow.
now getting
I'm
that?
Really?
dumb. I'm dumb! Okay, jeez.
Holy fuck, Ted.
It's one of... Okay, here's the thing.
The name is also a potential explanation for how they are what they are, because like in the 50s and 60s, a lot of the nuclear testing in the Pacific was in the Bikini Atoll. So
Yeah.
everyone in SpongeBob is potentially just a nuclear mutant.
There's a lot of them though. Like the Rugrats kids are actually like the seven deadly. Well, you can almost
No.
every cartoon is like they're all the seven deadly sins. That's one of the easiest ones to do.
Is Rugrats satanic?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe Angelica, but
Yeah.
Well, oh no, almost certainly Angelica. Like one simple thing they did was they gave him a cartwheel move, where basically he moved a little bit faster, and while you were moving, you could ram into small enemies. And it's such a simple thing to add that makes him much more fun to play.
So he became Diddy Kong.
So they
Kinda, yeah.
a cartwheel. So they capitalized on the fact that he is indeed a starfish.
Except for the fact that since one of his limbs is larger than the others, he shouldn't actually be able to do a cartwheel. But whatever, you know, we'll just roll with it, or cartwheel.
Roll with it.
I suppose. All
Well,
right.
he had a funny story about his acting career where he went to like a school because actor and it's a fun guest to have. Obviously, the kids had no idea who he was until he started doing the Mermaid Man voice.
Aw, jeez.
Well, if you're doing voice work, you're not really having to exert or go to like sets and deal with the weather and stuff. It's probably easier to do when you're older.
But you also probably don't have a 401k, and you have to, like, save up.
Yeah, that's another thing.
So you're saying that I should blow all my money on hookers and blow?
I mean, are the hookers and blow offering voice work?
I mean, how would the blow do voice work?
The blow specifically is the blow offering voice work.
It's cocaine. It can't talk, John. Have you been taking too much cocaine?
Maybe the cocaine's talking to me.
Let's go ask Jim Belushi. Anyone
That
remember
is
Magilla
frightfully
Gorilla?
accurate.
Who?
Did you say Manila Gorilla?
Magilla Gorilla.
Magilla Gorilla. Okay. Okay. It was like. I mean, I know you were talking about, but it's like I thought you said Manila Gorilla.
No.
Just a Manila envelope with gorilla arms.
The Thrilla and Manila Gorilla.
Yeah.
It probably would be a more interesting show if it was a manila envelope with gorilla arms, to be fair.
He's not wrong.
Oh, no, damn it, no! Well, shit.
That's the 360-degree rotation of frustration.
Yeah, basically. Why didn't I cut?
Yeah. Because wait, how long is the part? It's 14 minutes. You didn't want it to be an 11-minute part.
Okay, sure. I'm gonna
Go back to 2007 YouTube.
Yeah.
like maybe you want to die in Rusty Bucket Bay over and over again, and you know what? I won't kink shame you out loud.
Yeah, you'll never hear someone say, you know what, this game needs more pachinko machines.
No, wait, no, John, you will, Konami.
Okay. Fair.
You see, you're saying that, and I noticed that slightly phallic-shaped pile of rocks that was to our right over there. So you know, maybe that's
Anything's phallic if you look hard enough.
well, even a vagina.
Especially a vagina.
No, because a vagina cannot be phallic, because phallic means penis. Ryan. There's a word for it. But I don't know what it is, and I'll also
Unphallic.
I mean, okay, I guess that also works. Okay, I'm glad the part's over. All right, we're done. I'm stopping this before.
Someone's gonna take this video, but a specific timestamp. It's like, well, so what's BrainScratchComms like? It links to SpongeBob at this specific time, saying, "Can a vagina be phallic?"
It's a peanut butter. Oh, you see, I'm a dumbass. It's a peanut butter shower curtain because he's a jellyfish.
Yes.
Oh wow, I suck.
Why have the shower curtain on only one side?
I don't know.
Why
for the
have a
view.
shower curtain underwater?
Hey, SpongeBob, if we're underwater, then how can there be a four
parts.
Okay, with that said,
the
you still have to
pachinko.
do, like, what, 15 red coin missions in order to just see the normal ending of that game?
You have to do far too many, yes.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, I'm sorry. Mario Sunshine is not fun. Oh no, I said those words. Never mind. I regret.
I agree with you, so.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean much, though. To be fair.
Yeah,
Ouch.
but who are we?
It's there.
Mysterio.
There's.
I know you used it again in Rock Bottom. I don't remember the exact context of it. But
I might
remember
have
not liking
skipped
that one
it.
either.
Wow, first try. Okay, I honestly did not expect that because
This ball's great.
I was always doing so many different things after school because my parents signed me up for 15 million different extracurricular kind of stuff. So I only
15
ever got to
million.
play like an hour a day at most. So so many games I just didn't beat because I didn't have the time to beat them. You know, it was the exception rather than the rule.
Extracurricular stuff that your parents sign you up for.
Oh man, I loved soccer. I loved soccer so much. Playing soccer was my favorite sport.
Playing
I was
soccer
so-
sucked.
I was so happy to be signed up to soccer up through the 8th grade. It was great. I say with no sarcasm in my voice whatsoever.
Eh.
So,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, so don't...
Oh,
Fantastic introduction to the character.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom.
The timing of your intro made it seem to me for just an instant that your voice was coming out of Sandy's mouth. That was a moment.
Well,
But Lewis, you're Sandy in the thumbnail.
again, I love the show, but that large hump is a large fucking hump.
It kind of makes it sound like I don't know, the Final Fantasy 13 of television or something.
There are so many Final Fantasy 13s of television. There are so many shows where it's like, oh, once you get to season 4, it really starts getting going, and I'm like, how much free time do you think I have? What is it?
Well, plenty. You do commentary with us.
Yeah, I mean, good point. Wow, she basically disintegrated there. Okay, but I remember my parents tried to get me to set up the VCR. I was like 10 years old. They were out somewhere, and they tried to get me to set up the VCR to record an episode of Survivor over the phone, and that was an adventure. I'll just say that.
I can imagine.
But nowadays we don't have to worry about.
I didn't set it up properly, and my grandparents said, "I vote Ted off the island."
Man, you are having bad luck with these pits today.
Now with streaming services, you don't have to worry about missing an episode anymore, or waiting for the rerun that's never going to pop up, or having to open up your TV guide, which is
TV guide, holy shit.
Hey, I remember TV guides. All right.
So do I. I mean, I remember the episode of Malcolm in the Middle where I think they got either cable or satellite. And Reese and Hal just spent the entire episode in front of the TV watching the channels click by, like, look at how many channels we have. And they spend the whole episode just sitting there. It's like, it's still not through a loop.
Ah, jeez. But, I mean, then why would you pay for Netflix when Brain Scratch Commentaries is free on YouTube?
Well, not technically, because you have to pay for internet service.
It's free.
Okay, but we're not getting a cut of that money, so we need to call Comcast and complain.
We're not?
No, we're not.
Man.
Nothing is free.
Nothing is, not even breathing?
If something is free, then it's not. Then you're the product.
You also unlock
my favorite thing about the Hook missions is just that, it just makes you think of, like, behind the scenes. It's like, hey, Frank, what do you want me to texture today? SpongeBob's ass.
The fact that we
Okay.
see it is a little odd as well, but, like, actually, like, twists realistically, as opposed to just rotating.
No expense was spared.
Underwear physics is the future, boys.
Expense has been spared to acquire food technology.
Because the restaurant closes at 6.
At 6. Today's fat customers.
Gumball?
Gumball?
Gumball? I think it's Gumball? Yeah. I caught an episode of that while I was in PAX earlier this year, and I thought it was funny, but I didn't, immediately think about watching it.
I assume you've seen the video game RPG one.
No, I don't think I have.
Come into my house and sleep on my bed. He won't mind if we take all this money. He's an NPC. And then it just goes to close up on that guy shedding a single tear because he can't move.
If one guy handled the boss fights that he had to make one way, and the other guy who did other boss fights did it his way, and that's why the coding between the two are so different. So it's really, really interesting the way they did that, basically.
I think the mindset was that kids are never going to figure this shit out.
Yeah, basically. Basically. Oh yeah, sometimes the characters will just say random stuff, although they often will say the same things over and over, and then you'll get really tired of hearing those quotes, but I'm not bitter.
Yeah, thanks, Cup Force.
It's like these platforms were built for me.
Patrick, what? I don't know if they ever explain what happened to Mr. Puff.
Oh, he became a light, remember?
She doesn't like to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, they do explain.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, what else are they going to
lamp.
do? Talk about the traumatic impact that their divorce had on them? Like, if you've looked, have you looked up the psychological stuff, statistics about divorce? Because there are people, there's studies that show that going through a divorce can afflict more mental stress on someone than going to prison. I'm not joking.
Oh man, I'm like secretly paying attention to like all the best out of context shit for this commentary. And again, what is this part 6, Battle for Bikini Bottom? Have you ever looked at the mental repercussions of divorce?
No, but dude, if you get it worse than prison, like I mean, that poor kid, he's dead.
Yeah, he's fine. He's having time of his life.
Are you sure about that? He looks very afraid.
And if he wants to get out, just look for one of the many safety hooks.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
because
we
those
forgot-
aren't dangerous. No.
We forgot to install those.
Come on, SpongeBob. Do you think this looks dangerous?
I just noticed the sponge gar.
I like
thing
how
in
you
the
sink
middle.
straight through the platform directly below you. Like, because there's water goop stuff there, it's no longer solid matter. Maybe it's some strange chemical that renders solid objects incorporeal. Do you think that might be the case?
No.
No. I was so proud of that theory too.
Shut up, Matt Pat.
What would happen? What would happen
Control
if?
the cam, sorry.
What would happen if Ted actually played an Xbox on an actual Xbox? Because you know he bursts into flames whenever he touches the PlayStation. And he has to wear protective gloves for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably get really bad heartburn. Maybe. I don't know.
Do you already break out into hives when you have to play a game on the PC?
No, because I'm using my PC normally. Like I use that.
No,
all
but
the
playing
time.
games, playing games specifically.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to those sorts of things. Jeez.
The merry-go-round, is that supposed to be the Loch Ness Monster or something?
On the Ferris wheel, yeah, I think they're supposed to be like little
Why did I say
Nessie type.
merry-go-round?
Yeah. I mean, it does go round, and you are theoretically supposed to be merry when you play it. So.
Unfortunately, it costs about $3.50 to ride it.
Also, Patrick doesn't have fingers, so.
That didn't stop the Powerpuff Girls.
Do they ever bring up how the Powerpuff Girls?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When?
see-
There's an episode where they swap eyes with the professor, Miss Bellum, and the mayor, and Buttercup goes to pick up the phone, but she can't because she doesn't know how fingers work. Am I living in a box?
No, you live under a rock.
Talk about a beach bum.
I get it.
But in Oblivion, one of the things you can do at the very start is just ignore the town and the dungeon and the and everything around the opening area, and just quick travel to the first town where the plot is supposed to happen.
Like you can in that game, you can quick travel to places you haven't been before.
You can quick travel to the major towns that are already marked on your map from the start. You can't quick travel to places in between those towns that you haven't been to, though.
Okay, you see,
but
that's a little
that's-
unorthodox for that kind of thing.
It's unorthodox. It's also a problem because by quick traveling from one town to the next, you're skipping the travel there that would have revealed more places to quick travel to.
That's actually really funny.
So Poseidon is a fight ring.
Yeah.
You see, I like that.
Poseidon, is that as good as the Dimsdale Dimmadome?
I like that. It's also the kind of humor kids wouldn't get because it's all mythological.
The most interesting thing about them is that you do switch characters for the second phase out of the 3 phases. So for this one, you fight as Patrick, and when we fight Robo Patrick, the second phase is as Sandy, and you do get to take
Fight
advantage
was
of
so good. I think I'll play it a second time.
Well, no, they're always set to evil. They just were they were just switched to don't obey. They were just set to don't obey. Okay, look. If we sat here and pointed out every time I misspoke, we'd be here for longer than probably twice the amount of time.
Then we really would be BrainScratchComms.
Yeah, we really would be BrainScratchComms.
Or BrainScratch?
BrainScratch. Cratch. MMS is still my favorite.
You can just barely not see it. The fish head's there. He's like commentating the match. Like he's right
Oh,
behind
okay.
Sandy.
He's ringside. He's ringside.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Okay.
probably a better way to say it. I don't watch redneck anime, so I don't know the terminology. That redneck anime is wrestling. for the record.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have guessed. I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah. Like a. Oh wow, cool. But
you have not taste buds. There's nothing wrong with this redneck anime. It's delicious.
Ooh.
anyway, I completely lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sorry about that. I kind of made you lose your train of thought.
Oh, this is one of my favorite lines. Is SpongeBob, I'm your friend, right? No, not really. And as your non-friend, I worry about you.
Also, is it just me or in this game do Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy look like Statler and Waldorf with their mouths moving the way they do?
They go like puppets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's most obvious with them because they're the only humans.
Human shaped.
Yeah, they're the only humans.
They're like the only things with chins in the game. So.
Yeah, basically. For anything like, I don't even know what happened
damn.
there. All right.
You got hurt.
Okay, thanks, Captain Obvious.
Oh, thank you.
You're
You're welcome.
Were you talking?
I know him from
Oh.
Coach, the TV series.
Oh, there's a TV
Oh.
series called Coach. Okay.
Coach, yes.
Okay. I don't remember. I don't remember that.
Hence
at
the
all.
comments about
that's
John being old.
I mean, you're the only one here who's 30 right now, right?
31.
Oh,
I'm
geez, you're-
30.
Oh, geez, you guys are old farts. Damn.
I don't remember Coach. Don't look at me.
I am Oh no! Patrick decided to pick up the fruit backwards for some reason. Okay, all right, whatever. Then.
Well, he didn't die, so.
Yeah, that's true, but I gotta backtrack for it now. Granted, death in this.
Yep.
Uh,
I hate you, watermelon.
hey, SpongeBob.
I mean, at some point you just kind of learn if you play enough games, but that's kind of like me in Zelda puzzles, where it's like, oh, you have to hit things in a certain order, or it's kind of puzzle I always try 23 as number one because that's usually what it is for them.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just Nintendo's favorite one, though. to
Yeah,
be fair.
that's also partially why I do it. Try that first. Although I think in Skyward Sword it wasn't 23 as number one.
Oh, what was it then? Was it?
I honestly don't remember. I think it was
Was it
3, 1, 2.
23 is number 2?
12 is number 3.
That would be 1, 2, 3.
Yes, thank you, Lewis. You finally got
Also, those white tiles unfortunately remind me exactly of a Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric on the Wii U.
From
Those little paths you have to follow.
you see, I don't remember Sonic Boom at all, so
Probably for the best.
it'll leave early and other stuff like that.
Dope.
Yeah, it's about right.
You see, all I did was look up a YouTube video.
I mean, that works too, so.
Oh, man.
The frustration jump.
Nose guy straight up looks like a Muppet.
Barnacle
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, the Gonzo had that kind of big.
Well, Squidward has the same nose, so.
Squidward does have the same nose, but if we're
Yeah,
talking
but Squidward
Muppets,
is a
don't-
squid, so.
Well,
it
no,
works.
he's an octopus with 6 tentacles. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's still 10 minutes of the part left. Jeez.
Movie's over. Go home.
We're now purposefully going to rock bottom? Which
You are now in leaving Bikini Bottom.
also, I love this reference here. I feel like if you were talking to a porn artist about a commission, you'd be in kind of a place where you wouldn't want to ask questions anyway, but whatever. We're just gonna let that one go, I suppose.
This is disturbing. Ted, talk about divorce proceedings again.
John, not in front of the children. All right, we can talk about this later, dear. Like, one of the jokes in the episode is that nobody can understand SpongeBob because they don't understand his accent, but the accent is just him doing this in between every word. You know? So basically...
You're welcome.
Yeah, so it's actually... I also don't know how you're supposed to get that pair of underwear down there, but, you know, whatever. I don't know if I... Oh, yeah, I forgot. I was trying to go...
All the way over.
It's my favorite transition.
Wait, do the grapple points have actual Texas-shaped?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
It's the same with Texas in the Texas state flag colors.
Okay.
Because Sandy is like the only character in the entire show to have backstory, and that backstory is she's from Texas.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're stopping there.
We did a session of Sonic Adventure in between this, too. So, for a moment, I forgot this guy had legs. I thought he was just sort of a floating
A
oval
floating
thing.
Muppet.
Yeah, a floating Muppet, yeah. He could have had Arlo's hand up his butt, and I wouldn't have been surprised.
Why does...
But Arlo's,
wait,
Arlo's
has
already
his
a
hand
puppet.
up Barnacle Boy's
Yeah, I was
butt?
gonna say Arlo's already a puppet. So a puppet has his puppet hand up another puppet's ass.
Muppetception.
I think that's the no. That is Muppet intercourse.
Excuse me, but...
Did someone say something about a fisting? What you don't know is that Sandy's beefy arm was the first appearance of Terry Crews on TV.
That was
Wait,
gruesome.
whoa, hold the
No,
phone.
I'm joking.
Oh.
I would have bought it.
That
If you
was
just looked at the story. Sandy with her pecan pie, or sorry, peas in a can pie, according to SpongeBob. And the other is just a close-up of that pie.
Oh, Jesus. This looks really annoying, considering those platforms are freaking huge.
I spent, like, legitimately 20 minutes trying to make these... Because they're not on a set pattern, they're patterns... At least they seem to be random, like, so that they don't swing so that they're set in such a way that eventually the jump will be easy. You just have to kind of wait for it to...
The enemy behavior is independent to the platform.
Well, it's not the enemy
not-
that's bothering me, it's the...
Did you just...
Yeah.
Speaking of comic strips, I really need to get back into Dilbert.
I need to get back into Garfield minus Garfield.
I'm not the biggest Garfield fan, to be honest. I mean,
neither, but I love Garfield minus Garfield.
I enjoy the occasional Garfield strip.
Lewis, have you seen Garfield minus Garfield?
No.
Oh, it's great. They basically just
Yeah.
take normal Garfield strips and then remove Garfield entirely.
So
Yeah.
there'll
So
be...
it makes John look like a deranged weirdo.
So there'll be like 2 completely blank strips, and then John will walk in and he's just like, "Look at this thing I just got," and then there's just no one there, and so
Do
they
you
have
think
to change back because
that-
comic books.
Do you think that hand comes out and grabs Simon Belmont every time he falls into a pit?
You know what? I would say yes, but since it's Castlevania, then the hand has to be super beefy, and the hand struts like Simon does. But
Yeah,
since
so
it's
it's like
off
Terry
screen,
Crews.
we don't
How
see
would a
how it
hand
happens.
strut? Wait, I was about to ask how would a hand strut, but then I remembered the Addams Family.
Okay, no, alright. I'm not seeing anything on the first page of Google, so it's probably...
And there's still time.
Dude, if you have to go to the second page of Google, that's basically the equivalent of doing hardcore research. Okay. Wait, hold on.
Batman
but
and
they-
Robin, Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, exactly.
Harlem
So
Globetrotters.
Scooby-Doo crossed over with the Addams Family, and Scooby-Doo then crossed over with Batman, meaning that Addams Family and Batman are in the same universe. And as we all know, Batman then later crossed over with the Marvel continuity. So Addams
Also,
Family
Teenage Mutant
and
Ninja Turtles.
yeah, so Addams Family and Marvel technically do take place in the same continuity, as we all know.
Somehow.
So I suppose we're not due to get a Gex retuned trilogy.
It's
anytime soon.
It's on Square's potential list of things.
Well, hold the phone.
they-
Square
they-
owns.
Well, they own the company that made it.
Yeah, eat it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Eidos, however you pronounce that. The
Yeah,
same
Eidos.
they
same
made-
company
Eat
that
it.
owns Tomb Raider.
Oh, that's another great episode of the show.
I found if you keep your marbles in a bag, they don't get lost as often.
Oh man, this guy.
SpongeBob. SpongeBob is too pure for this world. Yeah, but it's not just that though, because there are other things like Mega Man is something I'm thinking of right off the bat, where the first 6 games, you know, powers aside, are very, very similar, and whether or not you want them to be more different is a matter of preference. You know, it's just like, okay, would we rather have Mega Man 65 be a much different game, or should we just make a new series for someone who wants something different and make Mega Man Classic just the same for people who want
Hold on.
the same kind of game?
Isn't Mega Man 65 just Mega Man Legends 2?
John, sit down, have a drink.
Oh, I was sure.
Oh man.
I haven't talked too much about the movie game. And oh, he was doing his
What
idle
the
animation
hell?
during the.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering what was going on.
I'm talking to you with my butt, Mrs. Puff.
Oh, SpongeBob, why?
Oh, why?
It's not the only time that certain console versions of a game have had bugs the others haven't. Like, there's the PS3 versions of Bethesda's RPGs, which are notoriously bad about like freezing after extended play. And then there's one that sticks out to me is the PlayStation 2 version of Legacy of Kain Blood Omen 2, which is a glitchy mess no matter what version you play it on, but it's at its most glitchy on the PS2, where even
Batman Arkham Origins. Needed we say more?
Wait, what version of that is worse about that?
All of them.
All of them? Oh.
Like, I think each version had a different problem.
oh man.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, think about it this way: if you have enough arrows stuck inside of you, there's not enough body parts left for more arrows to do damage to you. All right, and that's how, and then at that point you're basically invincible.
Insert picture of that one guy with the finger on his forehead.
I think you'll
Maybe.
probably like Dead Space, yeah.
At least the first one. I know that
The second and third aren't bad games. They're just not horror games, you know.
Yeah. I don't know much about the second one at all. People don't really talk about it. I know Dead Space 3 people got upset because
it
they
went
have
too far.
microtransaction stuff.
Too far in the other direction, but it's still, still good at what it does.
Yeah. Well, it's not the action stuff. I more hear about people complaining about microtransaction things. In
What else is new with EA?
Great, good point. Yeah.
Man. But man, that's a generation ago.
Dude, don't say that, man. All right.
Do not remind me of my mortality.
The fact that people are starting to consider the Wii a retro console is bizarre to me. I will say this though: if you're into collecting games, now's your chance to buy Xbox 360 and PS3 games for cheap. Because if you wait 5 more years, then those are gonna bump up in price because they'll definitely be considered retro by then. So if you want to buy a bunch of good games for like $10 each, go to your local GameStop and dig through the bargain bin. Like now. Because Wii games are already jumping up in price, DS games are already jumping up in price. So
Well, some Wii games already kept their price, like Radiant Dawn and crap.
yeah, that's true. That's true, but
Let's see, what was I thinking?
You were thinking that PCs were your
the
favorite retro
other thing.
console.
Well, the other thing about PS3 and 360 games.
But anyway, the idea for this phase of the bosses is that we want to make Patrick raise the acid level or whatever the heck this stuff is supposed to be by hitting him, and then that will melt the game.
Yeah, so that instantly kills you. Oops.
Game.
Oh, did it give you to the new... Oh, it starts
No.
on the second phase.
Yeah, it starts at the second page. Wait, did I leave in having to redo the whole phase? Oh wait, no,
Apparently.
I'm angry. Did I cut?
Oh, okay.
Did I cut? Past Ted, tell me that you cut. No.
Looks like you were on autopilot. When will he learn?
I must have forgot, but damn. Damn.
I thought this part was suspiciously longer.
Yeah, because it's a normal part length of 15.
Let's look at the bright side. You made the video long enough to qualify for a mid-roll ad.
We do mid-roll ads. on 15.
We're going to get so much money from this part.
Oh man. Title card. BrainScratchComms sells.
The S stands for sell out.
S is for selling out like BrainScratchComms. E is for EA.
Lots of money.
That's a money.
Money. Wow, when did we become Mr. Krabs?
Yes, it's the Chum Bucket security system. I designed it myself. Makes me so proud.
Makes me so proud. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom playthrough. In this,
Da 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 da.
Especially since I was technically in slippery mode from the whatever it's called. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Oh, you got it. It looks like you missed it.
I should have missed it, but I got it. Yeah,
I mean,
but
whatever.
some of the others, like especially Mr. Krabs' dream, are not fun. They're bad.
No, they're not.
Yeah, basically.
Well, unless assuming you don't know the secret, but I'm not sure if you'll.
Oh no, the secret. That's the only way to win that level. I don't know what planet you live on. But one of my favorite visual gags in this game is eventually later on in the level, we'll run into some enemies near where all the poop is, actually, where you'll run into cow enemies that are throwing pies at you. So they're throwing cow pies at you,
Yes.
aka crap.
Shit.
Yes. I'm sorry, poop. This isn't
That,
rated E.
that's a load of shit.
This game is rated E for everyone, guys. All right, we need to make sure that we are keeping
No,
this.
this game is rated E for E. coli. That's a lot of shit.
I didn't actually get the peas in a can pie joke until you referenced it right there. But then again, I also haven't watched an episode of SpongeBob in who knows how long.
It's a very small thing, but it's one of my favorite visual gags in the entire series. All for just a small misunderstanding.
And our own 10-gallon hats.
Yes.
Ah,
Nope.
Eat shit, Sandy.
No, seriously, we want you to eat shit. We made shit pies and everything.
I just came to the realization that Sandy is playable in more video games than Conker is. And Conker, I would say, is probably the most famous video game squirrel. So that's pretty sad for him, now that I think about it.
Just random trivia.
Game? No, wait. Oh, wait, no.
Just
I
going
saved
for the
myself by jumping onto the
I'm
ship.
probably doing it as shit.
Thank you.
Manar!
Man, that was a really
I love Manar!
that was a really shitty jump on my part.
You bullshit your way through it. Good job.
Yeah, well, I'm just really shit at playing this game.
Yeah, just wash
Poop
your hands
jokes.
when you're done.
Several bad puns later.
When Squidward decides to do that thing where a creative person gets high in order to be creative, he actually paints himself.
Yeah,
high
no,
he always, he
high
always,
out of
I was
his
gonna say,
mind.
he always,
Well, he's a narcissist. Yeah, he's a narcissist. So.
Yeah, so
I
he-
call it bold and brash.
More like, yeah, the original Krusty Krab, not the sequel Krusty Krab. But although Kelp Forest, I think, is a much worse level than
What?
the Dream.
What would the sequel to Krusty Krab be called?
It's the
What, the Krusty Krab
2,
2.
which he built right next door to the original.
Krusty Krab.
Krusty Krab 2 Crust Harder.
Krusty Krab.
Electric Boogaloo.
But anyway, this level's just annoying for a number of reasons. One of the biggest ones is that it's dark, so it's hard to see crap. Like, this level's darker than Rock Bottom, which is literally the bottom of the ocean, a part of the planet where the sunlight actually cannot reach. There's so much water in the way that the light's just like, okay, I'm out. And it doesn't even bother trying
I
to
can't work
get down.
miracles.
Like many of the life forms down there survive on geothermal heat, so they are in fact taking their energy from the depths of the earth. So if you count that as being a hellspawn, then yes, they are.
Nature is amazing.
It really is.
It was actually nature being as messed up as it is was one of the inspirations behind SpongeBob, because not everybody knows this, but Stephen Hillenburg, however you
Steven, yeah, it's always Steven.
Yeah. He was a marine biologist before becoming an animal. Animal.
An
Wow.
animal. Did you know that Steven Hillenburg was also an animorph?
Well, technically, human beings are also animals anyway. So
Yeah.
I was talking about those pure maze kind of things, where where it really is just a bunch of hallways interconnected.
Oh yeah. Jeez. Like the Ultima Underworld kind of style.
Except Ultima Underworld actually doesn't all look the same, surprisingly, and it has like the best map system ever. So
Yeah. So it's the Ultima Underworld ripoffs that weren't as good. How about that?
yeah, that's
Okay.
a good one.
Okay, there we go.
In other words, Daggerfall. Can I just say that jumping from leaf to leaf, like you were doing in Kelp Forest, looks really perilous when you can't see your drop shadow?
Oh! I didn't notice.
That kind of seems like the writers were some really basic-ass writers, because they're resorting to basic emotional responses rather than thinking about characters in how they would react in a human
You
way.
can't just have characters tell you how they feel. That makes me so angry.
What the fuck?
Because that's how you get Netflix to have a monopoly.
Yeah, I don't think Netflix even likes Monopoly.
I mean, nobody really likes Monopoly, to be fair.
Your house just comes with it.
Have you guys seen Monopoly Millennial Edition? It's amazing.
Yes, I have.
It's horribly insulting.
But it makes the tagline makes me laugh.
It makes you laugh for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I know.
But okay, so
Yeah,
hold on. Question: does anybody ever do auctions? Because that's something that's in the Monopoly video games that I never did at all. Like, does,
Well,
I mean, you saw how it wound up in
in
Fortune Street.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing about the
survive all the Mario parties and it's Fortune Street that breaks him up.
Wiimotes at dawn, good sir.
Somebody take John's controller. Take that thing.
No, it's mine.
Take it away.
It's green.
Guys, seriously, this game goes on forever. Can you just tell me how much you want me to pay and make me pay it so we can move the fuck on? Because this is gonna go on for 6 more shops. I hate both of you, and I'm taking your controllers.
John's gonna put his pinky to his mouth.
You know what?
$1 million.
I think losing all those shops. I think losing all those shops was worth it just for this. Ryan, I only have 250. Can I pay 250?
It's the 5th circle.
Ryan, I've only got 2. Please just play 250 for the thing. Please.
This is how it works.
No, it's not how it works. You just wasted time. Please just let me pay 250 for the goddamn space. You can also give up.
The salt is real.
Oh fuck! Where's my camera?
Just tweet out Fortune Street Salt.
Fortune salt.
there is strategy involved in buying stuff and utilizing it, but
Yeah, but
You have to be lucky enough to land on it.
First.
yeah. That's why I never found Boardwalk or Park Place good spaces, because nobody lands on those. So why bother even spending the money?
nobody
for it?
lands on them to buy them. Nobody lands on them to pay for them. We need to go old school and play the PlayStation 1 version.
Oh, I still have that.
What,
Oh.
is there anything special about the PlayStation?
Did I just
1
hear
version?
John volunteer to record?
Is there a story mode?
Single player Monopoly? What the fuck do you think I am?
I wasn't aware there were any thresholds beyond F-Zero GX, but
Well, yeah. Well, our mantra for the last 10 years, I would say, is never Devil May Cry 4. So
He's not entirely wrong.
yeah,
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just do Devil May.
we'll do 2 before we do 4 at this rate.
no. No, we won't. We really, really won't.
All right, John, you need to get on it then before Lewis gets to 4.
It was the first game, actually. If you died enough times before you got a certain distance into the game, you would unlock easy automatic mode, and the game would ask you if you want to switch to it. But you needed to do it at least once to unlock easy mode at all, so a lot of people just did it on purpose.
It always felt patronizing to me. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, is their game too hard for you?
Well,
yeah.
it was more of a joke at the time, because it was also the first game of its type too.
Well,
So
I have to ask you then: do you prefer that, or would you rather have them automatically turn the difficulty down if you're feeling?
Yeah, because
automatically is
because
a
I know
bit of a
games
kick
like
in the
Spyro
nuts.
3 does that for you, where it's just
Because,
like suddenly
like,
there's way less enemies around for
You
whatever
know,
reason.
doing it automatically without my consent is what's going to piss me off. Because I'm the kind of player that if I'm screwing up at something, unless there's something, like, legitimately bullshit about it, I'll keep banging my head against that wall until it fucking breaks. I'll leave the it in that sentence ambiguous.
We're talking about this in Resident Evil, where we were talking about going on a hike or whatever.
Oh, yeah, where they ask you, like, what kind of experience you want instead of just saying normal, easy, or hard.
Yeah, because like we said, most people feel kind of obligated to play normal if you're given the normal option, because
Hi, Radiant Dawn.
yeah. Oh no, he's definitely crossing and uncrossing his eyes. If you look at the path that the lasers are actually taking out of his eyes, and across the board. So
That's
yeah,
what I mean.
Yeah, he's definitely doing that. So that's a good way to get yourself sent to the hospital, dude. But whatever.
Well, not necessarily.
He's already dead.
I mean,
Oh, that's
your eyes do that every night when you sleep. Well, not necessarily crossing and
What,
uncrossing,
shoot lasers?
but well, not that. Unless you're Cyclops, but his are shooting lasers all the time.
It's funny that you bring up Ghostbusters because the Dutchman is voiced by Brian Doyle Murray, the brother of Bill Murray.
I thought that the Dutchman was voiced by Tom Kenny.
No, he's voiced by Brian Doyle
I
Murray.
could hold on. I'm like 90% sure that he was voiced by Tom Kenny. So hold on a moment.
I'm saving it the Google search.
Yeah,
It's
I'm doing
Brian
one
Doyle
too. Let's see who goes first.
I already knew that.
Yeah. So.
I mean, maybe Tom Kenny voiced him in a game or a later season, but it's always been Brian
Okay,
Doyle Murray.
God damn it! No, you're right. Fine, whatever. Because if you're watching reruns of that and you go straight from an episode in book 3 to one in book 1, you're gonna be really confused.
I think Toonami did that for a few shows. I remember at one point they were showing Dragon Ball Z reruns because, they kind of have to at some point.
Yeah.
And then, like, on Friday was the new episode, so it's like, oh, they're fighting the androids, and then on Friday they're fighting Second Form Cell.
Well, the other thing though is that
this boss fight's actually relatively difficult.
what is with the toasty fish?
He's commentating over the
That's
map.
our job.
He's a realistic fish head here at the Fry Cook Games.
Yeah.
When will they learn?
Who could forget that jerk, Mr. Krabs?
Ah, jeez.
Did he just shout karate at you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Karate.
And he shouts it so loud that it hurts you if it hits you.
See, it's karate.
This game is great.
Yeah. And if you can get a few jumps in, he'll do that karate chop, and then he'll just stand there for a moment because, I don't know, his programming's on a
stupid.
coffee
His
break.
bizarre
So,
yeah.
You've been inside your own head, SpongeBob.
oh yeah, there is an episode where Plankton controls SpongeBob's brain, if I remember correctly.
After he tapes it down because it rolls around.
Calls for with a mediocre clarinet player.
Mediocre.
I think that when it comes to the enemies using your attacks against you or power-ups against you, I think Wario and Mario Land 2 was a better version of that. Just, less HD graphics-y. And also you got that Wario sprite, which is just like one of the best things in the entire universe. So, there's that.
And he throws a shoe at you when you beat him.
Who throws
Wait,
a
One
so
last
Mario
act of defense.
Mario is the president of the United States? A game theory.
Okay, theory.
All my plans ruined. That does it. I'm becoming a lawyer.
Okay. Plankton. Good job there, buddy. So yeah, that's the end of the game. I do really like this one. I mean, I know I'm the only one here who has the sentimental value attached to it that makes this game worth more than, just being another licensed game. Because like when it comes to licensed games, I feel like there are some that like DuckTales, for example. Like I know a lot of people have an attachment to that game either because they love the show or they remember playing it when they grew up, but I don't know how people generally thought about, say, like remastered if they weren't a fan of the show or of the original game beforehand. For example,
didn't really like it, to be honest, and that was the first time I played it, so...
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really like it either, because it had a lot of you had to jump in the air in order to make something appear, and then you had to jump in the air again in order for you to actually collect it, which was dumb. So, yeah, but it's just like, I know that, especially I think for a licensed property more than a lot of other games, if you don't care about the property, there's much less of a reason to play it. Like, this is a solid game all around, but I wouldn't say it's a must-play unless if you're a diehard SpongeBob fan.
That said, not being a SpongeBob fan, I will say I've seen enough charm in this game that if I were to play it, it might just sell me on SpongeBob.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing too, is that it was definitely made by people who cared about the show. It's certainly a fun game, and I wouldn't not recommend it to somebody who isn't a fan of the show or hasn't seen the show or whatever, but I'd say being a fan of the show is what would put you over the edge into making it from a difference between a good game and like a great game, if that makes sense. Yeah.
You definitely benefit from being a fan of both, though. I mean, if you love SpongeBob and you love 3D platformers, then there's really no reason not to play this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And I mean, there definitely has been a lot more love for 3D platformers, I think, these days than there has been in a while. Because we've seen kind of the end of... We haven't seen a lot of 3D platformers since the mid-2000s, and now that stuff like Hat in Time and Yooka-Laylee and Mario Odyssey and all that are making the genre semi-popular again, I always figure like when a genre is getting something akin to a renaissance, it's a good chance to go back and discover some old games that you might have missed the first time around.
Yeah, so go back and play Bikini Bottom and Psychonauts and Ratchet and Clank.
Psychonauts, because Psychonauts 2 is coming out.
Oh yeah,
that's a thing that's happening.
Yeah, I actually have not played Psychonauts at all. That's on my to-do list. And Ratchet and Clank. I probably would have already gotten Ratchet and Clank if there was a PS4 collection of the original 3 games.
And you just pissed off Shade.
Yeah, I mean, no, Ratchet and Clank is a series I've been interested in years.
I know, I'm saying he's mad because you haven't played it yet.
Yeah, but the out of the PlayStation platformers...
Neither have I, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Like, I've said this a couple of times. Like, between the PlayStation platformers, Sly, Crash, Jak and Daxter, all never interested in me. But Spyro and Ratchet and Clank always have. So, eventually I do... Now that I played Spyro with the Reignited trilogy, I guess Ratchet and Clank is next up, but
it's just too bad that the remake / reboot for Ratchet and Clank was so weak.
Yeah, so and I know that, so I want to play the originals, but there's only a PS3 version of the originals, not a PS4 version, so yeah, I have to...
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Although I would recommend actually getting the PS2 version rather than the PS3 versions, if only because not only are there visual glitches, but the HD version of Ratchet and Clank 1 doesn't play the final boss music during the final boss.
What?
Oops.
Yeah, it doesn't play the final boss music during the final boss. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. That's a weird end to note.
That's
a weird note to end on, but okay.
It's more important than you think, because that final boss will kick your ass, and you'll be listening to the dead silence for quite a long time in the HD version.